Good evening and welcome to my end of the week recap here for SPY and trade plan for next week. Just a quick review of my trades last week. Took a bottom trigger here in these 301 calls at 47, reduced to 57, 72, stopped me out at 48 for a very green trade. Tuesday had another algorithmic trigger, take me in these 300.5 calls at 104. Managed this trade pretty well all throughout the day. But anyways, I added on this continuation at 116, reduced at 125, a little bit of a shakeout, took me out of some at 117. I added again on the breakout above at 130 and reduced again at 135 right there on that bearish engulfing bar. Held versus these levels as support. As you can see, I should have been adding right here, had plenty of time to do so, just did not. I wanted to see a confirmation. So I actually got back in, not back in, I added into some more here at 132. Took the vast majority off at 150, which was the prior day's support area right in this region. The rest of them stopped me out here at 141. End of the day, I tried a small hedge in these 298.5 puts in at 50. Stopped me out on the move above VWAP the next day. Looked like they were going to start working, so started putting a stop in place just in case, I could get some greenback. End of the day, or later in the day, I should say, I took these 299 puts here at 39 out at 50. I thought it was a pretty good trade at the time, and then they went $4 in the money off of the Fed news, China news, and tweets and all that stuff. On this drop, I also dumped the vast majority of all my long swing trades and some investments. So didn't want to get caught in something like what happened November, December of last year. So we'll see what happens with that. I'll probably get another opportunity to buy later on. After this drop, I thought I was going to see some resistance here off of my moving averages. So tried puts here at 125, these 298s here at 125, stopped me out at 110. I tried again here, these 299 puts here at 150, those stopped me out at 128. Couple losing trades in a row, just had to get me back on my heels, had to sit and wait. I was looking at this being a top right here simply because of this wick. I thought maybe you were going to roll over, but I was not able to take that trade. I was out on the road and missed this whole drop. Oh well. Monday came back, was still recovering, and just kind of sat and watched this price action. Didn't think we were done going down, but maybe we are. So Tuesday we gapped up, just kind of again sat, watched. Wednesday had another algorithmic trigger, which after the trigger price action went up, I think about 3 cents. And anyways, cost me a loss in the calls. I should have, had I been more alert. I don't know, maybe I'm still recovering, getting back in tune with the markets. Had I been more alert, I could have taken this trade right here off of this inside bar that broke higher and went up over $3 in the next 90 minutes. Very nice trade there if I would have been able to take it. Later on in the day, actually into the close, it looked like we were coming into prior resistance, so I took these 14 August 287 puts at 286 and ended up having to take a loss on those into the open on Thursday. Big, huge bull flag set up here on Thursday. I thought I was going to get a continuation higher, so I took some 2896 calls here as a lotto at 7 and reduced the vast majority up here at 15 cents. Now I have these lines on here. I usually don't draw just random lines like this. At least at the time they don't look random, but now in hindsight, like why did I pick that spot? Who knows? Anyways, tried to catch a bottom here. Did not have any official triggers. Actually, I can just take these off of there. Didn't have any official triggers, but I tried to catch a bottom anyways. Took these 291 calls here, 85. Stopped me out at 75. Another trade I attempted later on. This was just, there was no trigger there. Just it was a gut feel thing. Fortunately, I was able to get in at 77, out at 97 to make up for that first trade. But that was just a bad trade on my part, and it was not planned. There was no trigger. Even though it was green, I still considered it a bad trade. End of the day, I took these 292 puts here on this little bit of a breakdown, got in at 54, reduced some when it wasn't working over here at 55, took some off for profit here at 65, fortunately, and then the rest stopped me out here at 50 cents on this spike up. End of the day, just before the 15-minute period of options trading ends in SPY, I did take these 16 August 285 puts. They're at 95 cents. Just in case we do start to go lower next week, because as I'll get to with E-mini futures, it has happened before, and it's kind of a rare pattern that does have fairly consistent results. So anyways, trade plan for next week. If we do find support at one of these levels, I'll be looking at those calls for next week just as a trade, not a swing Price actions below all of my significant moving averages, so I'm not looking to swing SPY too heavy, and I will actually put gap and go in some 295 calls if we do gap up above the 21 EMA on Monday on significant volume. That'd be a phenomenal trade, and it would probably start to run up towards 300 bucks, which is the daily breakdown level, looking right around this area, maybe just maybe even 296.70. So one of those two spots would be the initial target if it does break up above there pretty quickly. That would be my trade plan for SPY. Now on to E-mini futures, because as I said, this is a unique pattern. It hasn't set up too many times in recent history. They're all denoted by these green arrows. I'll zoom in on a couple. Basically, a large green bar, red inside bar, just below the 50 SMA. The vast majority of them broke down. I mean, this is a bad example. Obviously, it went up. But look at what happened several days later. This one broke down massively. These two successive ones broke down massively. I'm not saying the market's going to turn overall bearish. I'm just saying this is not typically a bullish pattern. As I zoom back here a little bit, you can see price action obviously still keeps going up. Back here in 2017, price action was just kind of in a different field. There was no negative reactions to news. The market was smooth. Everything was going well. So there was no turmoil. There was no, I don't know, there's no confusion. There's no fear in the market. Right now, it seems like feels like, there's fear in the market. CNBC's pumping it every day, and I think it may be starting to catch on again. Plus, a lot of stocks are overpriced again. So probably a good time for investors, the big funds, to take profit. They'll probably find some better value on this impending drop, in my opinion. Just zooming back here so we can see these green bars. Maybe we just get a drop, something like this, and retest the low is okay with me. I don't think we're going to fall completely apart, but hey, it's not impossible. This one actually did break higher, so maybe we have a situation like that. Well, the scenario does break higher and reverse, and in that case, based on the volatility of these moves, probably get to 4,000 next week. I'm joking. But we'll see what happens with that going forward. If it does break higher, I am willing to take a trade on SPY calls for maybe a little bit of a longer term trade. Now here on to the weekly time frame for E-mini futures. Very long lower wick usually denotes that there is significant support and buyers are extremely buying the dip. But looking at these last 2 years, these huge red bars are starting to really stand out to me. Maybe it looks like there is some distribution, and we're just going to chop until the end of elections or the earnings season's over, or whatever the case may be. Probably going to have another drop just to either fill in this range. Who knows? We'll see what happens with that. But anyways, zooming back here, you can see some of these longer lower wicks. As they start, they also like to start downtrends. Now, this is not me turning bearish. I would love for the market to continue higher. It just seems like and it feels like it's in a different environment than what it has been in the past. So cautiously bullish for me for the time being. I do have a couple of new long swing positions open. We'll see next week if I do end up holding those. Two other charts to touch on real quick. Of course, transports rejected off of highs last week, just like the whole market did, and now we've put in what I would consider a potential bottoming candle. In order for that to be confirmed, you'd obviously need to have at least, I would say, a daily close. An hourly close may be, not enough, but a daily close above 186.13, just to say that we're going to start going higher, and this is now a new higher pivot, and we break out that 195 level. Onto IWM, because I know a lot of participants like to use this to gauge the market as well. Overall, on the weekly and potentially the daily time frame, again, just like transports, maybe we've put in a new low right here, and we're going to start to swing up higher. But as I zoom out here to the monthly time frame, do have a potential H cell setup just like on SPY. And if you're a believer in that IWM leads the market, maybe that's what's going to happen, and we do fall down. It did happen recently over here in late 2015 where there was H and it did break down, and this one was also a small one here. So those kinds of patterns do occur, and we may get a test of this 129.5-ish area. I don't believe IWM leads the market, but if you do, that's at least worth taking a look at. And then that's pretty much it. We can look at the Qs. Technology is one of the biggest industries. As I zoom out here, has a lot of old notes on here. This one doesn't look so bad. Still trading at highs. If we get some daily closes above, what's this, 188.38, daily close above there would tell me the uptrend is still intact, and the bears are not gonna be able to hold this this breakdown level. If that occurs, 196-ish area should be fairly easy to reach. So a couple of thoughts on Qs and IWM, and we'll see what happens going into next week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and good luck on Monday.